Hello, beautiful people! My name is Varstahl. And if you're asking yourself, what the heck is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night? I've got the answer for you. Before we begin, there are a few things that I need to make clear. First of all, I backed and funded this game on Kickstarter. Second, I'm a huge Castlevania fan, with Symphony of the Night being one of my favorite games of all times. Third, I played the entire first run on controller only. Didn't initially mean to, but as soon as I started the game, I picked the controller, everything felt like the original Castlevania and I just went for it without thinking. In this footage, you will find me playing with the keyboard, with mixed results. It's probably only my fault and not the game's fault, but I thought I should mention it anyway. Fourth, starting today and wherever applicable, you will find the link to the collection of Twitch stream highlights in the description down below. It will hopefully come useful to the people who want to see raw and uncut game footage. In terms of PC port, Ritual of the Night fares pretty well. 4K support, it doesn't support ultra-wide out of the box, although there are mod patches. Uncapped FPS, if you're not using frame smoothing. I'm not giving it an excellent on keyboard and mouse just because I didn't play enough with them. Controls are remappable for both keyboard and controllers. In the audio department, master, music, ambient, effects and voices are all controlled individually. Graphically, it's not too demanding and there are a number of individual options you can disable in case you have problems. So, aside for the usual Japanese developers who don't support ultra-wide out of the box, it's actually pretty good. As for the extras, which are common also to other releases, it has multiple language support for subtitles and text, including Italian, weirdly enough, both an English audio track and a Japanese audio track, 2 challenge modes which unlock after you complete the game, boss rush and speedrun, a soundboard where you can listen to every audio asset there is, which instantly reminded me of Symphony of the Night. And finally, this game will receive 13 new DLCs for free, which include 2 new playable characters. And so, with all this being said, let's take a look at the game. So, what is Ritual of the Night? In short, it's an Igavania. Gothic, exploration-focused action platformer with RPG elements. A subgenre of what is mostly known as a Metroidvania. You move around exploring unknown territory, fighting a range of different monsters, defeating bosses and getting new abilities that in turn help you discover new areas or make you backtrack to old ones to find new paths. And this sums up pretty much 90% of the game. Find new areas, find hidden areas, hit walls to find hidden loot, get new gear, get new weapons, level up, fight tougher bosses the more you go on. It's simple really, and I bloody love it. Given my love for Symphony of the Night, just this would be sufficient already, but Ritual of the Night pushes the envelope further. First of all, you will encounter a range of weapons, some more serious, some way less serious and fun. And with all these swords, greatswords, clubs, harpoons, whips, pistols, every class of weapons has its own unique playstyle. My favorite obviously was swords, to no one's surprise. But on top of that, the game actually goes further. Several weapons have unique abilities that can be performed with movesets reminiscent of fighting games. But if magic is your thing, this game got you covered as well. By defeating monsters and some bosses, you will gain certain abilities that are akin to magic spells. You can and will improve them in 2 ways. The first is by obtaining other shards of the same kind, that will increase its grade and power up to 9 levels. And the second is by using crafting system to increase the rank of the shard in order to gain additional benefits from the same shard. For example, the passive shard optimizer increases attack speed, and by increasing the rank you also increase the damage output. And then there's all kind of accessories and equipment and armor that also change the character appearance. And the crafting system, and the cooking system, and the graphics are nice, and the soundtrack is amazing. I really don't know how to start to describe all this, so listen to this while I collect my thoughts. I'm confident that at this point, everyone who loves Symphony of the Night and reached this part of the video has already bought it, and possibly stopped the video and already started playing. So what else can I mention to the rest of you? For starters, the story isn't really deep. I mean, mostly none of the Metroidvania stories are deep, but yeah. In a couple areas, you must complete most of the section map, if not all of it, before reaching a save point. And God forbid you actually die before hitting a teleport or save, because then the progression is completely lost. I died a couple times too many in some areas, and it was completely my fault, so I can't blame anyone else. But still, a small percentage of the game might feel a bit sluggish in pace. The last thing I should cover in detail though is the crafting and the cooking. As I just told you a few seconds ago, I died in a few areas because I wasn't particularly smart. Mostly all of the monsters drop both shards and materials. You can use these materials for crafting and cooking. Cooking is particularly interesting because food in this game gives you permanent buffs the first time you eat something. So instead of relying on random drops of cakes from the monsters, you can cook your own. And when you sum up all their effects, they can give you quite a boost. As for the equipment side, instead of waiting for mobs to drop specific items, you can craft your own. Recipes for both smithing and cooking can be found throughout the world and is an additional help in customizing your run and playstyle. Another strength of this game, although some people are pissed about it, is that it doesn't really hold your hand or repeat itself. You were in your own head when an NPC told you something very specific and strategic about where you should go next, or maybe you got a new ability from a boss and didn't give it a second thought? Well, you're in a world of hurt. In one instance, I completely forgot to talk to an NPC, which turned out to be key to the progression. In another one, I've got an ability from a boss and took me 30 minutes to realize, oh, I actually do have that abilities that I can use over there. And lastly, while I knew I had every single piece of the puzzle I needed, it took me quite a while to figure out how to alter an encounter properly. In more senses than one, Ritual of the Night is a very modern old-school game. Challenging at times, but fair. And I f***ing love it. So folks, this is it. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Available for about $40 on Steam, GOG, Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and I think that's all. My name's been Varstahl, and I'll see you next time. Or you could come see me for a change over at Twitch. Huh.